The sperm whale is a 50-ton shadow moving through a void where the concept of light has never existed. Here, 3,000 meters below the surface, the ocean is a pressurized death chamber that would crush human bones into splinters and collapse a military submarine. The water temperature hovers just above freezing. By every law of biology, a warm-blooded, air-breathing mammal has no business surviving here. But in the permanent freezing darkness, the largest toothed predator on Earth is hunting. To survive this impossible descent, the sperm whale has engineered a series of biological miracles. As the whale dives, it does not fight the 4,400 pounds of pressure bearing down on every square inch of its body. It surrenders to it. Its ribs are flexible, folding inward to allow its lungs to compress and eventually collapse entirely. By completely removing air from its lungs, no nitrogen dissolves into its bloodstream, granting it immunity to the lethal decompression sickness known as the bends. But without lungs, the whale must store oxygen directly in its blood and muscle tissue. Its blood is supercharged with hemoglobin, and its muscles are packed with so much myoglobin that the whale's flesh is not red, but almost pitch black. Every fiber of its massive body becomes a fully charged oxygen battery. At the same time, the whale makes a brutal calculation. It dials its heart rate down from 60 beats per minute to fewer than 10. It partially shuts itself off, redirecting oxygen exclusively to the brain and critical muscles to survive an environment that should be fatal. Then, a sound rips through the abyss. A third of the sperm whale's total body length is just its head, a 30-foot blunt battering ram. For centuries, nobody understood why it looked so disproportionate. The truth is that this massive head is the most advanced biological sonar cannon on the planet.
Hello, if the ocean's mysteries fascinate you, you're one of us. Subscribe now, let us build this community together.
Deep inside the whale's nasal passages, a pair of dense, fleshy valves called monkey lips clap together to generate a click. This sound pulse is fired backward into the spermaceti organ, a massive chamber filled with up to a ton of waxy, translucent oil. The sound hits a wall of air that acts like a parabolic mirror, reflecting the pulse forward through a complex structure of fat called the junk, which bends and focuses the sound exactly the way a magnifying glass bends light. The result is a highly directional acoustic beam registering at 230 decibels. To put that in context, a jet engine at full throttle is 140 decibels. Underwater, a 230 decibel click is not just a loud noise, it is a physical pressure wave. For years, scientists theorized this was a literal sonic weapon used to blast prey into unconsciousness. But recent data from high-resolution tracking tags proved otherwise. The sperm whale doesn't stun its prey, it chases it. As the whale closes in on its target in total darkness, it actually turns the volume down, shifting from powerful sonar sweeps to rapid, quieter bursts called creaks or buzzes. It maps its prey in real time in 3D, and its prey fights back. Miles below the surface, the sperm whale hunts the giant squid, a monster armed with massive hooks, tentacles longer than a bus, and eyes the size of footballs. We have almost never witnessed these battles, but we know they happen because the whales return to the surface completely covered in circular serrated sucker scars. Once the whale pinpoints the squid, it doesn't bite with its teeth. It uses its massive throat to create a vacuum, inhaling the giant squid whole like a 50-ton vacuum cleaner in the dark. It is easy to view the sperm whale merely as a terrifying deep-sea titan, but when they rise to the sunlight, they reveal an entirely different side of their existence. Sperm whales possess the largest brain of any animal that has ever lived on Earth, weighing up to 9 kilograms, 6 times larger than a human brain. Evolution does not build an organ that's metabolically expensive for no reason. This brain isn't just for processing complex 3D echoes. It is the foundation of a profoundly rich, emotional society. They live in tight-knit, matriarchal families led by older females. These grandmothers carry 80 years of geographic memory, navigating the oceans using inherited routes, safe zones, and feeding grounds passed down for generations. When mothers dive into the crushing deep to hunt, they cannot take their calves with them. Instead, the clan utilizes a sophisticated nursery system. Other lactating females act as wet nurses, sharing rich milk with calves that aren't theirs, while dedicated babysitters guard the vulnerable young from prowling packs of killer whales and pilot whales, and they rest in ways that defy imagination. In the open ocean, divers have accidentally drifted into pods of sperm whales, sleeping completely vertically. Suspended in the water column like a forest of motionless gray pillars, they shut off half their brain to sleep while the other half stays alert for predators. The animal that produces the loudest sound in the biological world becomes one of the quietest things in the ocean. When sperm whales socialize, the deafening hunting clicks stop. Instead, they speak. They communicate using rhythmic sequences of clicks called codas, which sound almost like Morse code. Scientists have discovered that different clans have distinctly different coda patterns, acting as regional dialects. A whale in the Caribbean clicks differently from a whale off the coast of Japan. These distinct patterns are not instinctual. Calves babble and practice for years to learn their clan's specific dialect. This is culturally transmitted knowledge. Recently, researchers with the Earth Species Project have begun using artificial intelligence to analyze thousands of hours of these clicks. They are discovering staggering combinatorial complexity, suggesting these codas possess syntax and grammar. They are not just making random noises. They are combining clicks in meaningful ways to create new messages. They have individual names. They are speaking a language that has existed in the dark for at least 15 million years, long before humanity ever found its voice. For most of human history, we knew nothing of their language or their minds. Sailors in the 1700s saw a 15-meter square head emerge from the fog and called them sea devils and leviathans. But then we discovered the oil inside that massive head. Spermaceti was a clear, odorless wax that burned without smoke and lubricated machinery perfectly. It became the most valuable biological substance on Earth, powering the early industrial revolution and lighting the streets of our cities. To harvest it, an entire global industry was built on slaughter. Whaling ships decimated the populations, striking animals the size of buses with harpoons. But the whales were brilliant, and they fought back. In 1820, a sperm whale deliberately rammed and sank the whaling ship Essex in the Pacific, an act of calculated vengeance that inspired the novel Moby Dick. Within the first few years of heavy hunting, harpoon success rates plummeted by 50%. As scientists now believe the whales use their codas to share evasive strategies across the ocean. Still, they could not outrun steam engines. We killed an estimated 1 million sperm whales, reducing their global population by 80%. By killing the elder matriarchs, we deleted entire libraries of generational memory, causing pods to fragment and calf mortality to spike. We also broke a vital pillar of the global ecosystem. Sperm whales are the gardeners of the sea. By diving to the abyss and returning to the surface to defecate, they bring up thousands of tons of iron, triggering massive phytoplankton blooms. These blooms absorb carbon dioxide and produce half the oxygen on Earth. A single whale can stimulate the carbon capture equivalent of thousands of trees. Even in death, their monumental bodies give life. When a 50-ton whale dies and sinks to the seafloor, it creates a whale fall. This massive influx of nutrients creates a city in the dark, sustaining deep-sea sharks, worms, and crabs for up to a century. The same animal that fertilizes the surface ocean feeds the abyss long after its heart stops beating. In 1986, a global whaling moratorium pulled them back from the edge of extinction, and today their numbers are slowly recovering. When you look at the centuries of blood between our species, you would expect an animal with a 9-kilogram brain, an animal that remembers to flee or attack when a human enters the water. Instead, when divers encounter sperm whales today, the giants slowly approach. They use their sonar not as a weapon, but as an X-ray, scanning the human's lungs, ribs, and heartbeat. They tilt their massive heads to read the acoustic echoes, and then they click. They use soft conversational codas. They look at the fragile, hairless apes drifting in their domain, the species that nearly erased them from the planet, and they choose curiosity. They speak, and they wait to see if we are finally ready to answer. The most alien intelligence on this planet isn't in outer space. It is swimming 3,000 meters below the surface right now, holding its breath in the dark, keeping the memory of the ocean alive.